Start with giving credit to UMass. I thought they came out and played very, very hard and were very competitive through the entire game, especially as it got a little bit one-sided there in the second half. Man, they kept playing and fighting, and it was really, really nice to see so many of our kids get in and to play really well in all three phases consistently through the game. So, what questions? Start with Angel. Probably, I'm going to get a question on Angel Flores. So he came, he got tackled and he just felt a little goofy. He came running off right away. He was fine. We did not want him to go back in. So we'd kind of run this two quarterback system to put ourselves in positions like this where if he's banged up and we didn't want to, we were protecting a couple score lead at that point and didn't want to have to grind him through into the ground the rest of the game. And then it was allowed Joe to be healthy and operate the whole offense today, which, I mean, he was 10 of 11 passing for 200 and some, 100 and some yards, 2 touchdowns, played great. But Angel, we expect to be okay. He's going to go get us imaging tomorrow just to make sure and confirm what the doctors all thought. But he was assessed by the whole medical staff right away and should be good to go.
Coach, your first homecoming game, a win for the team. What's it mean for you as the coach and the team?
It was great that it was homecoming just because there was, I think that was a lot of new first impressions this team made on some of our fans and alumni. So I think that was a very fantastic part of it. But just for us to go out and continue to go through our routine and procedure and treat every game the exact same is, I think, really critical for us. But it was neat to just all the pageantry and the later kickoff, and you just saw how just so supportive everyone is. And it blows my mind how fast the stadium fills up from the 6-minute mark before kickoff to kickoff. Everybody just comes roaring in, and then especially right after halftime, the fans were really into it. We scored those 2 first touchdowns right after halftime that were great. The crowd was really into it, and that really put the wind behind our sails and put us in a good spot.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that, Coach, about scoring after you gave up the field goal to end at the end of the half when you scored to open the third quarter. Was that kind of, did you feel like that was sort of the most important part of the game, to come out and score like that? And was that your message to your team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back out fast.
It was, and to be honest with you, the scenario the defense was in right before halftime was 99% my fault. You look at the analytics, and I had it on third down, where a 3rd and 1, I burned a timeout to get them to stop, and they probably would have just ran the half out, or I don't think certainly would have gone for it. So I think they kind of took that as a challenge, and they were able to convert that 4th and 1, and then move the sticks, and they got a really, really good kicker. And those 3 points right before half were pretty much 100% on me, and I went in and told them that at halftime. So for the offense to come out, Brock made another unbelievable play. Brock, I don't know. I'm saying this as a compliment, but he doesn't look like he's super, super fast. But that dude is always 1 yard faster than whoever is chasing him. It is incredible. So if he was getting chased by a D lineman or Usain Bolt, he's going to outrun him by a step. And boy, what a great play by him.
Talking about Brock too, there's fast and there's football fast. Would you describe him as football fast?
Very much. One of the things you notice about him is that when he plays football, he is an incredibly efficient movement skills on the field. He very, very rarely wastes time or energy moving. He's very efficient with the ball. And as a result, it makes him really difficult to defend because he's a one-cut glance runner, and he's a great big guy. So if you don't fit it exactly right on him, you can't tackle him, and he delivers a boom when he's there, and he's a really just an all-purpose back that can do everything for us.
So I want to ask, you told me earlier in the season, I think the verbiage you used was that just because you have 2 quarterbacks doesn't mean you have 2 offenses. You have 2 quarterbacks who are capable of running the same offense. I want to know a little bit about what's going through your head at halftime when you know one of your guys isn't coming back out of that tunnel to play. It's your own decision, of course. You didn't want him going back out there, but I just want to know, how does the game plan change when you're going just, it started the year with 3, now you got 1, and what's going through the head?
Nothing really. I mean, to me, it's about where you distribute carries and touches. So the thing that was really neat, I think Coach Chapin did a great job of using some tendencies we had built up during the course of the season to break some of those things. You saw Joe run it a little bit and play action, and Angel hit some huge passes early. But I don't really think anything changes other than some of the quarterback runs that you see Angel do are now distributed to those touches all went more to the back. So Brock had 12 carries, Trey had 15, Nyree had 10. So you're able to see, and they were all really, really productive runners.
No idea if anyone has briefed you on it already, but actually Heldman solidified himself in the CMU record books today. He has set the record for most QB hurries in a game in Central Michigan ever. Talk to me a little bit about what having a player that caliber means to you as a first-year head coach.
Mike is the man. He is his whole world is burst and bend, man. That guy. If I could stand up here for about 5 hours and talk to you about how good of a football player he is, how good of a person he is, and how good of a leader that guy is. And, I was talking to Kwiatkowski a little bit towards the end of the game. It's just like, man, when guys like Heldman and Kwiatkowski decide to stay, that changes everything. Because if they had left, everyone would have followed those guys. So I have an enormous amount of respect for those guys. And Heldman just every week just continues to be, he gets better and better every week. He's more productive. He is a nightmare. Even when he doesn't get sacks, he disrupts the quarterback. He disrupts the whole pass game. He's a nightmare to defend, and that helps us it helps the linebackers with their underneath drops. It helps the back end. He's an incredibly productive player, man.
Coach, you talked a lot last week about starting fast. You told me about the boxing match you had the guys watch. How do you think the team did in that respect today, and how did it affect the rest of the game?
It was awesome. And like I said, it was really all three phases. We put a big emphasis, like every time the kicking game trotted out today, we needed to be like a restrictor snake. Like it has to squeeze us field position. The defense, we told them before the game started, if we win the toss, we're going to defer. If they win it, they'll probably take it. We're going to start on defense, so we want to start fast on defense. And then the whole emphasis for the offense today was just finishing. I thought last week we got a lot of field goals and had a couple false starts here or there, and it was about finishing plays, finishing drives, finishing without field goals and touchdowns. So I thought all three phases did a tremendous job.
To rebound off of that answer, that fourth down touchdown pass that I believe Levis had late in the game, was it just analytics that went behind that to go for it?
Yeah, so if you look at it, we're up 21 at the point. So if we kick the field goal, that's 3 scores. So if we kick the field goal and go up 24, it still remains a 3-score game. So it doesn't really change anything at that point. So for us, it was an obvious go. We want a touchdown because you're in the field zone where they're only going to obtain points at about 18% anyway. So it was awesome. And then I am telling you, watching Nas catch that touchdown and watching how happy and full of pride he was on the sideline, man, like that is why you do this. That was one of the coolest. I couldn't be happier for that kid.
Talking about Hellman, when's the last time you saw a DN with 2 pass breakups?
I mean,
Seen that?
he just does. I mean, our third down and our pressure package that Coach Cronin perfected pretty good up there at Army. Those guys play different positions. So what's hard is that Heldman can play like DN the whole game, but then in some of these packages, he's standing up or shifting in different spots, and those guys can drop into coverage and rush from different angles and run line stunts. So it's just the fact that Heldman and those guys can learn and operate and do all of those things is a huge, like him and J.J. Douglas are pretty special kids.
What do you think these last 2 weeks have done for you and as you go into Western next week?
I think probably just solidify what we're doing is working. I think you can see it even during the week. Like we are improving still every practice, which is really, really nice. But just, I think the kids all understand like what we're doing and how we're doing it is working. And the Western deal we haven't really talked about at all, to be honest with you, just because every game in this league, if you don't take every week like it's the Super Bowl, you will lose. And we learned that once already, unfortunately.
Anything else?
That was a fun game. 500 yards of offense, ran it for 280. Chapin was incredible. Brock was amazing again. Boy, their kickers and punters are awesome.
One more thing, Coach. We touched on the last 2 weeks playing so well and everything else like that. You played well against Eastern too, and then you went to Akron. The way your team responded, do you feel like that they've shown some growth?
Oh,
in light
big.
of that? I mean, you know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
like emotional consistency and maturity for sure. And to be honest with you, you look at the Bowling Green one wasn't that hard because to get them ready for, because when you lose, you want to play the next day. You'd rather just play a new team an hour later in the parking lot just to get the bad taste out of your mouth. This one, you're I don't know. So these games are tricky because if you're favored, you're supposed to win, and all those things. We're now to the Western game where, thank goodness, I don't think there's going to have to be a whole lot of motivation coming from the staff for this one. It'll be really reining it in, and we're in a situation now where this game puts you bowl eligible. It puts you to win the Cannon. It puts you to win the Michigan Trophy, And this is what we all signed up for. And the way you win big games is do everything the exact same you were doing. Winning a game doesn't ever change. The circumstances might change around it, but the game itself never, ever changes. So this is we've kind of done all the other big things, right? Like winning on the road and winning on the road in the conference and check all those boxes. And this is really like the last big one is now we got to start playing in big games here and winning them. So that's the next step.